Goeienaand almal. Kyk vanaand op 'n baie spesiale dag. Dit was regtig 'n dag van rekords. Ek sê dit baie gereeld op hierdie onderhoude hierdie seisoen. But a very welcome to everybody. It was really a special day. We've got a special guest tonight as well with Lindsay. I think there's a lot of farmers that will wonder what happened to Lindsay. Tonight we were going to find out. But coming back to a sale, really, when I say it's a special day, it was a special privilege for me as well to offer such a catalog. There was a lot of firsts. It's the first time that we offer more than 80% of RMS certified Mohair. It was the first time that House of Fibre offered more than 80% of a share in the market. It was really the best quality of Mohair in the world. And we've seen world record prices on virtually on every category. And they deservedly, every record was deservedly for that specific farmer. You'll see later in the discussion who the farmers were. But to kick off, before we get to Lindsay, let's have a look at the slides, and you will see the first one. There is the lots offered today, 516 lots, substantially smaller than the previous catalog, but 515 of them were sold. That's 99.8% sold. That one bale that didn't sell, I just bought it myself, and I will re-offer it next season. But if we look at the next slide, the price movement indicator, for kids is up 1.5%. It stands at 764.33 per kilo. Young goats sold very well, up with a 3.1%. And as you guys can remember, on the previous sale, it also went up with an indicator of 544.72. And then the adults also went up with 1.5%. The strong adults came down a little bit, but overall the adults went up with 1.5%, with an indicator of 337.54. If we move to the next slide, you'll see on a year-to-year, our current average indicator is 425.15 per kilogram. That's a 2% increase on the previous sale. And but if you compare it with the previous year, 81% difference. Last year, this time, we were at 234.31. In the middle of a pandemic, in the middle of a drought, it was really a sad state of affairs. We're still in the drought, but at least it's a little bit greener, and the price is 81% better. That is a very, very good news for our industry. If we move to the next slide, and you'll see, you will remember on every sale, I say this is the most important slide, because that's give you the indication of what happened in the market per micron. Now, for the first time, we've made a split between RMS prices and non-RMS prices. So we will handle the RMS prices first. You'll see the 24-25 micron, and that includes everything now, right from 20 micron till a 25 micron. The average price was R801.80, which is an increase of 1.3%. The 26-27 micron, up 1.7%, with an average of R762.54. Sorry, and then the 28-29 micron went up with 3%, with an average of R610.84. The 30-31 micron, big performer today, went up with 4.8%, with an indicator of 494.36. And the 32-33 micron, the best mover, went up with 6%, with an average indicator of 404.6. Just to give you an indication, the non-RMS indicator for 32-33 micron stand at 362 rand. That's nearly, it's over a 40 rand a kilo difference. I know there's a lot of farmers asking if it's really worth your while. Yes, it is really worth your while. You can add on average 50 rand a kilo on your RMS certified Mohair. The 34, 35, 36 micron group was unchanged at 327 rand. And then the 37, 38, your strong micron, yes, and there was a few bales, came down with 4.5% to an indicator of 293.28. If we move to the non-RMS lots, you'll see they moved up similar in percentage, but the price difference is quite big. 801 to 744. 762 compared with 680, 610 compared with 571, 494 compared with 455, 362 compared with 404, and 327 with 294, and 293 with 294. Except the real strong Mohair, you can see all the other averages was between 30 and 40 rand a kilo difference. Then if we move on to the exchange rate, the next slide, you'll see the US dollar strengthened from 14.04 on the previous sale to 13.84 rand. The British pound improved from 1975 to 1958. The euro from 1699 to 1696, so the euro was more or less unchanged, and the Chinese yuan also more or less unchanged. But as we know, most of the trading is done in US dollar, and that is quite a big difference. You'll see in the next slide, a difference of 1.45%, weaker to the rand as compared to the previous auction. On the previous auction, you guys will remember that there was a drop of 3%, and that was directly correlated to your exchange rate. And it will just show you what quality is doing. Because on this sale, with all this top quality Mohair available, the exchange rate strengthened with 2%, with more 2% more, and the market went up with 2%. But then, very interestingly, and a very good sign for our farmers, not really for our buyers, you see the graph of the average indicator in dollar terms and in rand terms. And you'll see in rand terms, it's more or less steady, but in the dollar terms, it's even going up even more. It's going up from $29.76 per kilo to $30.72 per kilo. As I said, that's not good news for our processors, but good news for our farmers. That means in real terms, you are really benefiting. Then the next slide. This is one that all the farmers like. The top 5 summer kit prices. And there, right at the cream of the crop, Billion Fred Colborn at 922 rand a kilo for that 22.7 super style B length, 93% clean yield bale. It's by far the best bale of the season, and very deservedly get the top price of the season. Interesting enough, that is not the world record price, it's a seasonal record price. The world record price stands at 1,256 rand 10, that for the Van Hasselt bale that was sold a few years ago. In second place here, Roffie van der Merwe from Aberdeen for a 26 micron bale, excellent quality. But this bale was really a surprise to me. It was a very good, attractive bale. But I thought with a 26 micron, it won't make the 900 rand, but it sold for 919 rand. Third place there, the Van Hassels, with also a 23.7 micron bale. I think the finest bale that they've produced for a season or two at 915 Rand. Excellent quality, super style, B length. And then Jan Latergan and Jannie Latergan, also with a 23.6 micron bale at 900 Rand. And then Mr. Nel from Steytlerville for a 21.3 micron bale at 890 Rand a kilogram. I know this is also also a good style bale, super style bale, very nice bale, very fine bale. Then if we move to the next slide, that is the top 5 winter kit prices. And that you will all know that is actually your top summer young goats. That is fine enough for kids. And there in the top place, Billy Colborn and Fred Colborn again. At 855. This is a new world record price. The previous price by Flippy Retief at 829.50 was broken at 855 Rand. What a good bale. Then Latergan, Jan Latergan at 821 Rand a kilo. At excellent bale, excellent quality bale, and at a 26.1 micron. Then Frans Retief from Driehoeksfontein Boerdery, Maritzburg. Also excellent bale at 802 Rand, 23 micron bale. And Rofner and his 2 sons, Becker Trio Boerdery from Prince Albert. Also a very nice bale at 791 Rand at 24.3 micron bale there. Then Weber Trutter from Oudtshoorn, there in the fifth place with his young goats at 786 Rand a kilo. Then new world record price for summer young goats. Jan and Jannie Latergan from Aberdeen at 790 Rand for their 25.9 micron bale that is offered as young goats. Weber Trutter at 751 Rand. Van Hasselt Farming again at 721 Rand. Izazi Retailers, a total newcomer to the trade. And in the 4th place at 711 Rand. They're from Oudtshoorn. And Billy and Fred Colborn again. And the 5th place at 28.3 micron at 701 Rand. The top 5, let me just, then the top 5 adult prices, what we quote them as winter young goats. We all know that is actually very fine. Adults, top position, new world record again, Jan and Jannie Latergan from Aberdeen. They really clean sweep all the records. At 27.3 micron, people, this is an adult testing at 27.3 micron. And it's really a genuine adult. Selling at 769 Rand. And then J.R. Froelich from Pearston at 545 Rand. For an adult at 29.9, I think that's Frans Froelich. A lot of people won't recognize the J.F. Froelich. That's Frans Froelich from Pearston. And then Billy and Fred Colborn again at 543. Frans Retief again at 520. And Izazi Retailers again from 510 Rand in the 1st place. Then the real adults, that was presented as adults. World record price again, Jan and Jannie Latergan from Aberdeen, 600 Rand a kilo, 28.2 micron. Billy Colborn, Fred Colborn, again, 540. Frans Retief from Maritzburg again, 525. Weber Trutter again at 500 Rand. And Rofi van der Merwe from Aberdeen, also 500 Rand for the top adult bale. Then if we move to the next slide, We look at the overall buyers market statistics. Mosenthal's holders buyer played a major role, 11%. New England, I've said welcome back to Ken on the previous sale. He bought 3 or 4 bales today. He really played a major role, especially in the top quality prices. Although the 3% looks insignificant, but he played quite a big role in the high quality kits. Thank you, Ken. Camel bought 50% of the market, Stucken 58% of the market. And you'll see all the smaller buyers today played a major role. Sudwuller from Germany bought 8%. The previous sale was 9%. Konica at 7%. She doubled her, yes, and it is a she. She doubled her market share from 3% to 7%. Thank you for that. Passed in only 1 lot and not sold. There was 2 lots. One was from House of Fiber, but as I said, I bought that lot. So significantly that it was the smaller buyers that played such a big role today, and I say thank you to them as well. And naturally, the 2 processors buying more than 50% each. That was, in short, what happened on the day. I'm very keen to come to our guest tonight, Lindsay. Lindsay, can you hear me? Can I kick off? What happened to you? We all know Lindsay was the general manager of Mohair South Africa. She was in command of everything, in control of everything. She's done a very sterling job for us in the past 2 years. I say that on every meeting that I address, that the industry must say thank you to Lindsay Humphreys and Dr. Hobson, our vet, for the work that they've done in the past 2 years. I think we bear the fruit now of what input you had. And so what happened to you? Why did you move away? And what is your responsibilities now? Lindsay, you are muted. I can't hear you. Lindsay, you are muted.
Hi. Thank you. Firstly, thank you so much for having me on tonight's call. I never miss one of your reports. I absolutely love them, and I lie on my couch and watch them every second week. So thank you for the opportunity. Yes, so a lot has changed for me in the last 2 months. I think after 12 years in the Mohair industry, and with the industry having come through a really, really tough time in the last 3 years, and a lot of growth and a lot of new projects and implementation, I saw opportunity for further growth for myself personally. And I think my passion was born in sustainability in the last 3 years, having had that conversation almost exclusively post what had happened to the industry. I realized that that's really where I wanted to grow. And I had 2 options. My one was to move abroad and work with one of our brands or one of our suppliers. And the other was right here on my doorstep when an opportunity arose to work in sustainability right here at BKB. So my new role is sustainability manager at BKB for all fiber, so wool and mohair, although we all know that my heart is with mohair. And my responsibilities are to keep abreast of sustainable sourcing. So I'm still dealing with the international markets and ensuring that our producers are equipped for the future, because there's so much changing all the time. And just to keep having those conversations and to keep our producer front of mind, which is truly where my passion lies. And it's a new opportunity for me, and it's very exciting.
I'm glad to hear that, Lindsay. Before we go into detail on the RMS issue, where can we find you? Where's your office?
So I'm based at the BKB building in Grahamstown Road. You'll find me in the middle of the wool and mohair department, most likely with a headset on, as I spend most of my days on calls. But that's where you'd find me, and it's really, really lovely for me to see familiar faces. So please visit.
We will definitely do, and you're quite in the wrong place. I think we must get the office for you here in House of Fibre. But tell me, Lindsay, from your perspective, is RMS important? I think that we all know it is, but why is it so important?
Okay, so that's a great question, and it's sort of been my last 3 years, and now my next journey is sort of leading on to that. It is absolutely important, and I think it's also, I know that we always say there will always be a market for all mohair. Somewhere in the world there will be a market for it. However, the conversations that I have on a day-to-day basis is that RMS is intrinsically important in terms of sourcing and buying from South Africa. Also, a call that I was on just yesterday was a really enlightening call, and I thought I would share it this evening, is that a brand or an end client doesn't mistrust a producer in South Africa. They don't for 1 second think at this stage that there's something that they're not doing correctly. It's actually not about that. It's about a brand that makes a marketing claim and actually needs to have a legal backing to that marketing claim. So whilst they don't know the producer, we know all the producers and we know how they farm, the brand doesn't know the producer. So if they get hit with some greenwashing legal claim, which has now become very common in the world, they actually have a document that can say that they sourced correctly and ethically and responsibly. So it's actually not a mistrust situation. And I know a lot of producers wonder, why do we need to do this? We always farm this way. We agree, they always did farm this way. It's just having the correct documentation in place that a buyer can actually implement that on their side.
Where is the RMS mower going?
So currently RMS, well, it's going worldwide, but I would say Italy, China, the UK is probably the biggest sources of RMS mohair at this stage. And then with China, a lot of the mohair in China gets further processed and then sent on to the UK and the US. And those markets are very, very stringent about sustainability rules and sourcing. And they require that, which is why it is such a strict requirement in China as well.
You actually answered my next question, because there's a lot of farmers that want to know and said, but why is China so very stringent on these things? And it plays a major role in China. We can't get away from that.
Yes.
What is, to your mind, the opinion of a fashion world of a South African farmer?
Of a South African farm?
Of a South African farmer, yeah.
I must say the last 3 years has really turned this industry into a space and a place that I suspect it's never been before. And before COVID hit, we obviously had a lot of our clients coming into the country and exploring farms themselves. And that is more valuable than you can imagine, because in a sustainability world, these employees are very connected to one another. And that's what I discovered through the process of the last 3 years, is that you might have one, it's such a big, vast world if you explore sustainability and traceability through supply chains, that they actually rely on one another to support. So one brand will go in one direction, another would go in another direction, but they would share the information, so share the resource. And I think that I'm very proud to see 80% RMS mohair on today's sale is just incredible, absolutely incredible. And I'm very proud of this industry, and the world's very proud of this industry. Still to this day, we get referenced as a world-leading natural fiber industry, and we get asked for advice from other natural fiber industries on how to implement change in their industry. So I think that we're in a really positive place, and I think the mohair industry has reached a stage that is, I always believed that we had reached the stage years ago, but now when I look at it, I just think that the future is very exciting for the mohair industry.
Saying that, I know there's good prices this season. There are a lot of farmers asking, can this continue? How does the future look like? And I know it's very difficult in the mower industry to forecast anything longer than a year or two, but not really from a price point of view, but your feeling about the demand and future for mower in the immediate next year or two.
So, like you say, I'm always nervous to have this conversation, but from the conversations that I'm having every day, is we still have brands that, so let me explain to you that when the brand that sources your mohair, it starts in a sustainability department, which sits at the very top of it. And that's not a salesperson, and it's not somebody that's making any purchases. They decide what products can be bought into that particular brand for responsibility reasons. From there, it goes down to designers. And from designers, once they've designed, it goes down into buyers. But the feeling that I'm getting and that the feedback I'm getting is that the designers are putting a lot of pressure on the sustainability departments to allow mohair to access value chains where mohair can be sourced responsibly, because they are seeing that this trend is ongoing and they want to design with it. And a lot of brands have tried, but there is no fiber that can really replicate mohair. Certainly in color, luster, and in its halo, it's almost impossible to replace. So on a day-to-day basis, I'm hearing from sustainability departments that their designers are wanting to use mohair. So that gives me a very positive outlook for the next, they work a year or two in advance. So it gives me a really good outlook for the next year or two.
Thank you. That's good news to hear. I know you're a very private person, but so nobody knows what goes in your family life. Tell us about them. Do you have children? Who are they? What do they do?
Yes, I do. I'm a mom of two boys. Keaton is 18 and Caleb is 15, and they're both at Grey High School. And I'm engaged. And yeah, you're right. I am quite private in work, but I am a mom, and I take that role probably more seriously than I do my career. Yeah.
Thank you, Lindsay. It was really a pleasure to have you present tonight, and I hope all the viewers enjoyed it. And thank you for your valuable input. And I know we're going to work together. You're an asset for the whole industry. It's not just for one particular company. And we will work in future together as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Pierre. Appreciate it.
All right. That's the end of our story tonight. I hope everybody enjoyed it, and let's see you in 2 weeks' time, and hope we will continue on this good way. Thank you. Good night.